Today we're going to be working with oil pastels so that you can achieve different values using color now instead of just gray. If you look here, I have what's called a tint scale, which means you're taking a color and you're adding white to it so that the effect is it gets lighter. You also have a shade scale where you start with black and you add blue to it to get darker, I'm sorry. Working with oil pastels is very similar to working with paint in the sense that they can be mixed together. If you mix blue and black, you're going to get a darker blue. If you mix blue and white, you're going to get a lighter blue. They can really be overlapped and layered nicely to mix. Really nice jumping point between pencil and paint. It's kind of a nice halfway point for us to work with. So you're going to be making these value scales today. You're going to need a ruler, you're going to need a pencil, you're going to need a color oil pastel, any color of your choice. I wouldn't particularly start with a really light version of the color. For instance, if you want to do blue, you're going to be a lot better off going with kind of a medium blue than either a really light blue or a really dark blue. Try to find something that's kind of in the middle. You're going to need a black oil pastel and you're going to need a white oil pastel. And I'll show you how to create this scale right now. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to flip over the sheet that I had. Take your ruler and measure out 2 different bars here. And I would say make them about, I don't know, no less than 4 inches long. So I'm going to mark at 4 inches. You don't need to make the scale the whole width here. And I'm going to start here. This is going to be my tint, which is a color. It'll be blue plus white. So I'm going to take my oil pastel, and the first thing that I want to do is clean it off. Using any sheet of scrap paper, you can just kind of scribble and get off any of that kind of remaining color that it might have from what you've done previously or what somebody else did previously. I'm going to clean off all of mine right now while I'm here. And this is just on scrap paper, just kind of wiping off some of the color that sticks to them. Feel free at any point to unwrap the oil pastel if it gets really short. Go ahead and do that. For the tint scale, I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to start with applying the white. And at first, I'm going to go full pressure with just like when your pencil, when you wanted to make really dark shadows. I'm going to apply full pressure, and then gradually I'm going to kind of let up so that I'm not pressing quite so hard, almost as if you were trying to make it fade. And I'm not going to go all the way to this end because I want that to be true blue. Notice I left a little bit of black on there. I didn't clean it off very well. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my blue. I'm going to start on this end and I'm going to apply maximum pressure. You don't need to press so hard that you break the oil pastel, but you do want to be pressing so that it's a nice, smooth, even coverage. And I'm going to do the same thing with the blue, where as I move towards the white, I want to kind of release the pressure a little bit. So I want to kind of lighten my hand. So I'm just not pressing as hard in this middle zone. And I want an area that remains totally white, so I'm going to leave this over here untouched. Now this looks kind of sloppy. So I'm going to come back in with my white, and I'm going to go over to kind of smooth and blend these areas together. Now notice I'm not coloring all the way over to the right here. I want to leave some of that that's just true blue. And right now I'm coloring all in the right direction. You can kind of mix and match this if you want to go in some different orders. You can notice the lines are blurring a little bit. I'm going to go back in with my blue again, fix up that corner, and kind of go over some of that area here. And I have created a tint scale from blue to white. Now your shade scale is going to work the same way. Doesn't matter what side you start on or what color you start with. This is going to be using blue and black. I'm going to start over here with pure blue. No white will be involved here. I'm going to start with pure blue, and I'm going to move, as I move towards the center, I'm going to lighten my hand a little bit, so I'm not pressing quite so hard, because we want the blue to mix nicely with the, so you can see it kind of change. I'm not pressing as hard here. And then from this side over here, I'm going to start with my black, applying maximum amount of pressure, not so much that I break the pastel, but enough so that I get a nice solid looking black. And as I move towards the blue, you guessed it, I'm going to lighten up so that where they overlap, it's a little bit of blue and a little bit of black. And just like we did with the white ones, this looks pretty choppy right here, so I'm going to go back in with some blue. I'm going to overlap and kind of pull the colors together. And I can also go back in with black at any point to smooth them. So similar to your pencil value scales that you did, you should be able to see on your scales 3 pretty distinct areas. For instance, on here I can pick out the blue area, I can pick out kind of the middle area, and I can pick out the black. Here I can pick out pure blue, light blue, and white. You should be able to kind of pick out 3 different values for each one. Once you've done that, you can watch tutorial 2 and you'll see what to do now that you know how to blend light, dark colors with oil pastels.